A little joy. A young girl, around 10 years old, was sitting in a park with her grandmother. She laughed loudly every time a bird flew by. "Grandma, did you see that? That bird waved at me," she said with excitement. People walking by smiled at the girl's happiness, but some looked confused. One man sitting nearby whispered to his friend, "Why is she acting like that? Isn't she a bit too old for such silly things?" The grandmother heard them but didn't say anything. She just held the girl's hand and smiled. The girl pointed to the sky and said, "Grandma, look. The clouds are dancing." Her eyes sparkled with joy, and she clapped her hands. The man nearby couldn't help but speak again. "She's acting like a little child," he said. "Is she okay?" This time, the grandmother looked at him kindly and replied, "She was in the hospital for 2 years. She couldn't even sit up by herself. This is her first day outside in a long, long time." The man looked at the girl again, this time with softer eyes. The little girl turned to her grandmother and said, "Grandma, do you think the birds missed me too?" The grandmother nodded with a warm smile, brushing a strand of hair from the girl's face. "I think they were waiting just for you." The girl laughed again, a sound so full of life that it made a few people around her smile without even realizing it. The man who had questioned her earlier watched in silence. He seemed lost in thought. Finally, he said quietly, almost to himself, "Sometimes we forget what real happiness looks like." The girl stood up slowly, holding her grandmother's hand for balance. She looked around at the trees, the sky, and the people in the park. Then she said, "Everything looks so new, Grandma, even the wind feels different today." Her grandmother gave her hand a gentle squeeze. "That's because today, you're seeing the world with fresh eyes and a brave heart." Just then, a butterfly fluttered by and landed on the girl's arm. She froze, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's so beautiful," she whispered. "I used to dream about colors like this." The people nearby, who had first looked at her with confusion, now watched in silence. The man who had spoken earlier slowly walked over and knelt beside her. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "I didn't understand." The girl looked at him and smiled. "It's okay. Not everyone knows the whole story." She looked back at the butterfly, then at the sky. And as the sun began to set, painting the clouds in shades of gold and pink, the girl took a deep breath and said, "And as the sun began to set, painting the clouds in shades of gold and pink, the girl took a deep breath and said, I think this is the happiest day of my life." Her grandmother's eyes welled with tears, not of sadness, but of quiet joy. "You've waited a long time for a day like this," she whispered. The girl nodded. "Some.